Greetings and welcome back to Doctor Who Revisited, where I go through every single episode of Doctor Who from 1963 all the way up to 2023 and review them. And this one is Invasion of the Dinosaurs, or rather, Invasion, just for the first episode, because you don't know what the invasion force is just yet until about halfway through the episode when, oh yeah, dinosaurs! What a great way to introduce that title. And of course, you couldn't keep calling this episode Invasion because there already is an episode called The Invasion involving units, oddly enough, from the second Doctor era. But yeah, I kind of like that it's a bit of an unconventional way of revealing the full title of the episode, but I really like that. First of all, anything that has anything to do with dinosaurs is an instant thumbs up for me, in my opinion. I just love it. I don't know what to tell you. Anytime they bring dinosaurs in Doctor Who, I love it. I mean, it's a time travel show. What's more iconic to time travel than freaking dinosaurs? I'm a little shocked that they don't do that even more often. But you know what? Whatever. I'll take whatever I can get. Now, elephant in the room here, the dinosaur effects are definitely a product of their time. I kind of wish that they come up with a remake for this episode, where they update the dino effects just a little bit. You could use CGI in some points when it's necessary. I think I said this in a previous revisited episode. It's a good way of getting the younger generation more interested in Doctor Who. If the dinosaurs look a little more convincing, I should say, and you don't even have to do too much with it because most of the dino scenes are scenes where there aren't any of the live action characters, so you can just replace them with CGI, like what they did with Puppet Yoda for the Phantom Menace. That could really work, I think, and even some of the scenes where you see actual characters alongside dinosaurs. I mean, you could do something there, and that really would help the cause for this episode. But it's kind of interesting that the name of the episode is Invasion of the Dinosaurs, but even the Doctor himself says that the dinosaurs are not the main thing. They're a byproduct of something else. And this byproduct is the far larger plan, far larger conspiracy happening underneath this layer of dinosaurs. Again, what we knew about dinosaurs back then was very, very limited. Obviously, nowadays, we know a hell of a lot more about dinosaurs than we did back in the 70s when this episode was made. So, I guess kind of excusable why they only had like 4 or 5 species of dinosaurs, like a T-Rex, Triceratops, uh, Apatosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Pterodactyls. And even some of the information that they name drop about the dinosaurs is very inaccurate. I mean, the Brontosaurus and the Apatosaurus are not the same thing, but I guess it's fine. It's just what they thought dinosaurs were like back then. But either way, I think the number of scenes where we actually get to see the dinosaurs were enough, considering this episode is named Invasion of the Dinosaurs, but isn't necessarily about the dinosaurs themselves. There's also that one scene with the medieval guy that just somehow got trapped in 20th century Earth and attacks the Doctor and Sarah Jane and just weirdly goes back. I think that would have. I think more instances of that would have been pretty helpful. To kind of help sell the point that something is going wrong with time in this episode. And just first of all, you know what? Let's just address this head on. The way time travel is addressed in this episode, where one human scientist somehow managed to create a time machine that can literally bring dinosaurs from millions and millions and millions of years ago to the present, and more importantly, send, or rather throw back planet Earth in its entirety back several million years to before the dawn of men. Okay, that's pretty crazy. That's grandiose thinking. But who cares? I like it. It's a bit ambitious, I'll admit, but it's interesting. It's an interesting thought to bring into an episode. But I mean, I think I talked enough times about the dinosaurs and the plot, the time travel involved plot, and not enough time about the meat of this episode. I think the main meat of this episode is the conspiracy happening underneath the people of Unit. It's like it's very similar in a way to Ambassadors of Death, where the people on the bad side can't have managed to infiltrate Unit and have actually managed to cause a lot of problems from the inside to Unit. But this time it's a bit more personal because it involves one of their own, Mike Yates, and Mike Yates is involved with this weird plot. I mean, I think I said this enough. That the plot itself is pretty bonkers. Just throw back the Earth and repopulate it with the select few. Like, what gives you the right to choose who is going to repopulate the human race and who isn't, and completely ignoring all the timey wimey problems that are going to come up from such a crazy scheme. But all that aside, Mike Yates is in on it, and I think for the first time I watched it, it really threw me off. It's like, what? This guy, I mean, he's the Doctor's friend. He's the friend of the Brigadier. He's one of the most trusted members of Unit. How could he be involved in all of this? But as I grew older and sort of read a little bit more about the thought processes behind the making of this episode, and even on this rewatch, it made sense to me. This whole thing came about because of what happened to him in the Green Death when his mind was taken over by the boss, the supercomputer, where it kind of threw his mind into a loop, and it doesn't justify necessarily what he did, but I can kind of see it a little bit better of how he began to think that men were wrong in a way. I mean, people essentially screwed up this planet, for lack of a better word, but for lack of a better word, of course. But it's understandable why he did it. And also kind of understandable why some of the other people involved in this conspiracy would be on the side of doing something that crazy. But overall, I mean, I think the part about it being Captain Yates, it does really sting a lot to the Doctor and to the Brigadier and to us, the audience, after spending so many years following this character. But I kind of like how they ended it off with Mike Yates. I mean, thank you for your service, and go and never come back again. That's pretty much more or less how they ended things off with Mike Yates. I mean, he wasn't necessarily bad, wasn't evil, he was just a little bit misguided. And throughout the episode, he tries multiple times to sabotage what the Doctor is doing. Sometimes it almost costs the Doctor's life, and almost gets Sarah killed at one point. But again, he did it for he did all the wrong things for the right reasons. And like I said, misguided, not necessarily bad or evil or ill intent. And one other thing I can say about this episode is just a continuation of what I said in the previous episode. Sarah Jane gets things done. She's taking the initiative. She's an investigative journalist, and she doesn't listen to the Doctor. She doesn't listen to what all these other men tell her to do. She finds ways of getting things done, getting a story out, getting a camera to photograph a T-Rex, even though that kind of doesn't work all that much. She gets a permit to go and meet this government official person who's also part of the conspiracy. Of course, it all goes wrong. She gets herself captured and sent into the spaceship, the fake spaceship. But even then, she's kind of a disruptive person, and she actually manages to convince some of the people on the spaceship that everything happening there is a conspiracy, and it's all they've been lied to. And she finds a way to get out of the fake spaceship and get herself back out into the Unit base. Unfortunately, this also results in her being captured again, isn't sent to the same place. But once she's back there, she manages to convince the people again that this whole thing is working against them, and all these people eventually go out and rebel against the guy that lied to them, essentially. And yeah, so I really love the continued emphasis on Sarah Jane's initiative, and it's another really great reason why Sarah Jane is my favorite companion, and in my personal opinion, the best companion out of all of them. And yeah, there's some really funny moments with the Doctor when he's working on that weapon to stun the dinosaurs, and he keeps getting interrupted from here and from here, and he's like, yeah, we've all been there, we've all had those moments. But yeah, there really isn't not much to say about this episode, or oddly enough, an episode with dinosaurs, and really not much to say. So I'll just say I like this episode. It's nice and it's fun. And, it's not a standard Doctor Who Third Doctor episode with Unit. And that's it. That's all I have to say for now. More on Captain Yates later down this season. And I'll see you then. So let me know what you thought about this episode. And goodbye for now. Hi there. Thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. I'll see you next time.